finalists of the World Championship U20 2022, coming from Great Britain, Molly Ruth Palmer. Three times national champion of Puerto Rico, Elizabeth Felix. Twice in top 8 in World Championships. From Sweden, Kali Sania. The gold medalist from the World Championships U20 in 2022, coming from Bulgaria, and also the record holder in JBL jump vest, Plamena Mitkova. And with personal best and also the best season best is coming from United States of America, silver medalist from the Indoor World Championships 2024, Mona Nicole. A poďme na mužov, aj tam začneme slovenským reprezentantom, aktuálny majster Slovenska, Matúš Bošták. The national record holder of Northern Macedonia, Andreas Trajkovský. Champion of Great Britain 2021, Alexander Farkarsson. Champion of Poland, Piotr Tarkowski. Champion of Czech Republic, majster Českej republiky, 7. na majstrovstvách Európy v Ríme 2024. Mladík, veľký talent, Petr Manšmil. Držiteľ národného rekordu do 20 rokov, 803 cm. A ďalší český velikán, strieborný medalista z halových majstrovstiev Európy 2015, 7. z majstrovstiev sveta v Budapešti 2023, držiteľ českého národného rekordu 831, Radek Juška. A je to aj držiteľ rekordu do JBL Budapeštu. Finally, the world champion from 2019 in Doha and the bronze medalist from World Championships in Budapest, DJ Gale of Jamaica. Okay guys, so thank you so much for the introduction and good luck. All is going to start.
Máme to JBL som dal do záhľadu. A ja všade.
Áno, teraz ešte môžete vidieť na boli aj jednotlivých súťažiacich, teda to štartových minút, toto je ruská časť, tedy muži, tam budeme mať 7 skokanov, takže 42 skokov uvidíme v mužskej súťaži a v ženskej máme 6 žien, tam budeme mať 36 skokov, takže dovedná, ak niekto nebude vynechávať alebo nezraní sa, tak by sme mali vidieť dnes večer 78 skokov. A teraz máme ženskú stavu, vidíme, že bude to začínať všetko Renata Vodňanská a s najlepším personálom išla sa dokožiť Mona Nicholsonová z Ďalekých Spojených štátov. So all is ready, we will follow 78 jumps totally in these competitions, I mean including women and men. All is ready for first jump and we will make it Renata Vodňanská, Slovakia.
To je naša perša. Ale
Scott. So next one to follow is representing Great Britain, Molly Ruth Palmer. Her season and also personal best is 676. 666. Your support. Šesto 28, 628. Nové start, dobrý začiatok. A ideme na tretiu reprezentantku, to je trojnásobná majsterka Puerto Rica Elizabeth Wells.
So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are in Košice for the JBL Jump Fest once again. The annual event, of course, has returned to Slovakia. It is an incredible street meeting. It happens every year. And, of course, free spectator tickets with the spectator capacity increasing 20% on last year. So that's an absolutely fantastic initiative. And you can hear on the stream the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic as our next athlete takes to the runway. That's Kari Sagnia, Swedish athlete. Very strong in her run up there. And she does get the white flag. This is the first round, of course. She's our fourth athlete to jump in this first round. They got underway a little bit ahead of schedule, but the atmosphere, as I say, the board. Look at that, absolutely fantastic. Inch perfect on the takeoff, and it's not often that we see that in a very first round jump. Goes 666 in the first round for Sagnia, the Swedish athlete will be very happy with that. And up next on the runway then, we've got a glimpse of her just there. That's Pamela Mitkova, the meeting record holder that's set last year. Remember, she jumped 670. Her season's best 669. Just asking for the support of the crowd. So 669 already this year, so she knows that meeting record is in touch once again. And looked to me like she's just overstepped the board there, but we'll wait for confirmation. Of course, very, very early days in this competition so far. We are in the first round, so there's plenty of time for athletes to adjust their run up, move back a little bit, move forward if they need to. We saw Molly Palmer go a little bit earlier. She was quite a way behind the board. Got a jump registered, of course, but she wants to optimise that a little bit more. So, and here we have Monet Nichols, the American athlete, currently ranked 5th on the world ranking system. Very strong on the runway. A slight shortened step, perhaps, on her final stride of the approach. She does get the white flag. And it's got to be said, she is the favourite in the women's competition. Here we get a replay. Good on the board. So good first round jump registered by Nichols. 663. Not enough to go into the lead just yet. So she'll sit second for the first round. And now the first of our elite men, Matusz Blustak, on the runway now. The Slovakian, 766, his personal best and season's best. That was set on the 25th of May, so he's in good shape. We'll wait to see the flags, of course, as they go up as confirmation from our officials. But perhaps some adjustment needed on his approach in that one. A little bit short of the board. He'll want to readjust his approach to optimise that in the next round. But of course, like we say, this is just round one. So 7:16, the registered distance. So he'll want to make some improvements on that as we do continue. Up next then, Andreas Trajkowski. Getting the crowd involved. 7:85 at the European Indoors earlier on this year. So he's had some good jumps already in 2025. 7:70 his season's best outdoors. And again, just a little bit short on the board. You can see there, he wasn't quite natural in his landing. Does get the white flag, of course. There we go, the speed you can see in his approach. Just behind the board there. Valuable centimetres he'll want to reclaim in the next round. 7:21, his opening round jump. And now Alexander Farquharson. He is the UK national champion from 2021. The UK Athletics Championships held in Manchester recently. He'll be moving down to Birmingham, I believe, this year. He's well seasoned at the JBL Jump Fest. This is his fourth appearance at this competition. He clearly enjoys it every year. He jumped 7:85 last year to win the men's open contest. And he got some oohs and ahs from the crowd there. They were impressed with that opening round jump. He does get the white flag as well, so he will have that jump measured and registered. It's got to say he looked good on the board there. Perhaps some distance he could improve on, perhaps, but he'll be pleased with that for his opening round. 7:67. It's a season's best already in this contest today, so he'll be very pleased with that. And it's not too far away from his top mark at this competition last year. Remember, he jumped 7:85 last year. Piotr Tarkowski up next on the runway, Polish athlete. Set his personal best back in 2022, so he'll want to revise that soon, I should imagine. Very quick on his approach on the runway there. Very fast. He looked a little bit short to me, but we'll wait for the replay to see just how he fared on the board. Yeah, just a little bit behind it. A very strong way to kick off his competition. 7:13. Plenty of improvements to be made for him though. His season's best, 7:98, so around that 8 metre mark. That's what he'll be looking to encroach on. But now, Petter Meinelschmid. Now that looked very strong indeed. Good on the board in his first round. The official's white flag goes straight up in the background. And that looks like it could be a very strong opening jump from our youngster. He, of course, debuted at the Olympics in Paris last summer. He was aged just 18 for his debut, and his PB was set at the European Championships last summer and was an under-20 national record at the time. So a fantastic young talent, and 7:50 to open his competition. Not quite in the realm of his season's best, 7:60, his best so far this year, but not far away, and I think we can expect some exciting things from him in this competition. But now, Radek Juszka, the meeting record holder from 2023. 7:96, that meeting record. The crowd were impressed with that. 7:84 is season's best. That was set last week. So we know he's looking to build on that and improve on it. His PB 8:31, so he's got some space to build, but look, good on the board there. Just extended that final stride to make sure he made the most out of the space he had. Yeah, very good on the board. $7.93 is the new season's best and our furthest jump of the competition so far. We've got one athlete still to jump to close off our first round, and that is Tajay Gale, the Jamaican athlete, the 2019 world champion from Doha. Looking very confident, the favourite of this competition, it has to be said. 8:69 is personal best. He's already jumped 8:34 this year. He's the only one in this field that's gone over 8 metres in 2025. He looked a little short on the board there to me. He does get the white flag. So definitely have his first round jump registered, which for a lot of these athletes is always nice to get one on the board and then they can really start to push on. Yeah, you can see he was just a bit behind the board on that. That's valuable distance he's going to want to reclaim. Some slight adjustments will be made for plenty of the athletes in the field before round 2 gets underway. 7:82, his first round jump. So Juszka, the Czech athlete, is our leader from round 1, but we do restart back into round 2 then, and this is Renata Wodnianska. We've not seen her compete yet this season. Only 21 years old, and we can see she's enjoying her song pre-jump. Each athlete has been able to choose their own song for their introductions for each jump that they perform. That's something that I think athletes will really enjoy. They enjoy their music to hype themselves up pre-competition. It's really adding to the atmosphere here in Košice. But you can see foul in the first round for Wodnianska. Looked better on the board this time round though. You can see a little pump of the fist there. She was happier with that competition, and she has got her first jump in, 5:74. She wants to make improvements on that in the rounds to come, but good to get something registered in the second round. Her personal best, 6:26. So hopefully we'll see her get near that today. But here is Molly Palmer from Great Britain. Now, Molly Palmer had a fantastic competition at the Loughborough International just a few weeks ago, beating out Jasmine Sawyers with a fantastic final round jump. So she'll be looking to carry that form over, and that looked very strong, although a little bit behind the board still. She was behind the board in her first round. See the anxious wait for her there as she waits for her jump to be registered. Much better on the board, actually, on the replay. My apologies there. Still a little bit of room for improvement. Much, much better than round one. 6:51. That's a new personal best for Molly Palmer, so she's going to be really thrilled with that. There's celebrations there. But now Elizabeth Felix, heptathlete from Rio 2016. She's currently 51st in the World Athletics rankings for the long jump. 6:49 in the first round. Now that, to me, looked better. The white flag goes up. And we'll await to see what that jump was. Much better on the board. That was really strong. In fact, we did see a strong jump from her. I believe it was in the first round. She was very good on the board. But an improvement there. 6:58 for round two. And now, Kari Sagnia, the Swedish athlete, 6:66 in round one. Getting the crowd involved there, the rhythmic clapping. Long jumpers and field eventers really enjoy that. Get the crowd drawn in, and it makes the events really quite exciting. Spectators feel like they're really involved. You can see the atmosphere in Košice is fantastic. And a white flag then for Sagnia. But isn't it an improvement on the 6:66 from round one? Good on the board, but perhaps not quite the extension in the air that she'd have looked for. So many technical aspects, of course, in field eventing. We talk about it all the time. Long jump, triple jump, high jump. All the field events can be so technical, and these athletes are fantastic at picking up on little areas to improve and little areas to progress themselves from between each round. And that is why they can be so exciting, because just a small adjustment can change the whole competition. But now, Palmena Mitkova, the meeting record holder, set in 2024. A no jump in round one. She's going to want to rectify that. And it's not going her way so far today. Hopefully we'll see some strong jumps from her as the competition does progress, but she overshot that one. An adjustment does need to be made in her run-up. Fantastically strong athlete though, Mitkova, the Bulgarian. 6:70 she jumped here last year. She's only 1 centimetre off that as her season's best. We know she's in good form. She's going to want to reclaim or to for anyone that is breaking the meeting record. But now Monet Nichols, big shout from her, and a slightly quicker clap. You can see the rhythm she's got there as she claps along to her choice of introduction music. First round jump of 6:63. She's going to want to improve on that so she can claim the lead in the women's competition. Of course, it is Sagnia that leads us so far. But Nichols, the favourite in the women's contest. 7:04 she jumped in June 2024. Of course, competed at the Paris Olympics where she finished 6th at her first games. So truly very impressive from Nichols. Still improvements to be made on the board. She was quite far behind it in the first round as well. That was better, but still room to take some of that distance back. And 6:44, not quite what we know she's capable of, but she'll be warming into this competition, as will a lot of the athletes. And that's why our final rounds can be so exciting. But back to the men then. Matusz Bluszczak. 7:16 in the first round. He's got a 7:66 personal best and season's best. He's good on the board. Again, a slightly shorter final stride there. You've got to hope that didn't lose too much momentum for him as he made the adjustment just to make sure he was right on the board, which he did do. .747, so a big improvement there in round 2 for Bluszczak. Jumping on home turf, of course, in Košice. So Andreas Trakowski on the runway for jump number 2. 7:21 in the first round. The speed, of course, on the runway is so important for these athletes. A lot of them will have spent the indoor season doing some 60-metre training. Some of them may even have competed over the 60 metres for their preparation for the outdoor season. And you can see they've been so quick down the runway already this evening. The runway, of course, a special telescopic track in the middle of the city. It's one of the things that makes this street meet so unique. You can see a fantastic aerial shot there. So a bit behind the board for Trakowski. 7:21 is marked from the first round. It's what he wants to beat. 7:26, so he does. He just edges forward. Alexandra Farquharson, the British athlete then. You can see there his first round jump, 7:67 into a plus 1.8 wind. So it's a little bit breezy down there today in Košice. Very mild though, about 22 degrees I believe. And very clear skies, so it's a lovely day really. The athletes won't be getting too cold between jumps at all, and he looked a little bit over the board to me there. Very quick on his approach. We'll wait for the replay, but to me, looked just over the board, and there is the red flag. So a no jump for Farquharson in round 2 of the JBL Jump Fest. Only just over the threshold, but of course means a no jump registered for him. And we move on then to Piotr Tarkowski. Good acceleration on the runway there. Big cheers from the crowd. Good on the ball, it looks there. .765 for Tarkowski. So the athletes really warming up into this competition now, and here is Meinl Schmid, the Czech athletes. the youngster, very promising future. And look at that jump. We'll make sure he was okay on the board. Very good acceleration on the runway there. He looked like he was just over on the board to me, but we'll wait for the close-up just to see. Oh, he's inch perfect. Inch perfect. And that is fantastic work. What a young talent he is. 778. That's the season's best. Fort Meinl Schmid. His PB, of course, just over 8 meters, 8:03. It'd be great to see if we can watch him perform around that sort of caliber. But now, Radek Juška, the Czech athlete, lining up. He's our current competition leader for the men's contest. That mark. So of course, it'll be interesting to see if that falls today. And he wasn't happy with that one. Not quite there on the board. He ran through the jump in the end. Still our competition leader though, but up next on the runway is going to be the favourite, so we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, you can see there, he knew he was just over the board. Bales on the drum, halfway through it. So he'll go back, analyse that. I'm sure we'll see some improvements in the next round. But our competition favourite, Tajay Gale, up next. The Jamaican athlete, former world champion. Big speed on the runway there. He gets the white flag.
Pozrieme sa v opakovačke, ako to vyzeralo. Na doske asi výborne, keďže tam bola biela vlajka, tak to bola excelentná práca. Pozrite sa, k 8 metrom niekde letíme.
Very good on the board, very, very good. He'll be pleased with that one.
A Gale 789. 789. He improved his
So 789, his second round jump. That's an improvement on the first round. So he'll be pleased with that. It's a good few centimetres more, so hopefully we'll see that continue to improve throughout. Remember, his personal best is an absolutely huge jump of 869. Absolutely phenomenal. Hopefully we'll see him improve past that 8 metre mark. He is in 8 metre shape this year, 8:34. We've seen him jump already in 2025. But we are back to the start of the women's competition then. And Vodňanska, Slovakian, on the runway now. Her second round jump of 5:74, her best so far of the day. Good speed there as she approached, a little bit short on the board. So we'll wait to see what that comes out as. Yeah, there's plenty of room to improve on the board. But confidence, of course, will be growing through the event. Athletes often warming into their events, and we often see some big final round jumps as they piece all the technical components together. And now back to Molly Palmer. So you're enjoying the music, enjoying the atmosphere, really taking it in. It's the way that a lot of these field athletes really like to work, get themselves hyped up. Oh, and that's a shame. That's a real shame. Molly Palmer pulls up with cramp. We can only hope that's not too bad. Looks like a hamstring issue there. Hopefully it is nothing more than a cramp, so well wishes to Molly. She's had a great early season so far. I mentioned it a few moments ago as the Loughborough International, a fantastic final round jump of 6.67. Of course, it was wind assisted, but that was enough to take the win at the Loughborough International ahead of Jasmine Sawyers, who is returning from injury, of course. She's British Universities champion, so fingers crossed for Molly Palmer and all the best to her. But now, Elizabeth Felix on the runway. She'll be waiting to get the okay to go for her third round jump. Music blares through the speakers. She hypes herself up and gets in the zone for this third round jump. Look at that, the aggression, the speed in that run up. I think she's just overshot the board slightly there. Yeah, there's the red flag. Puerto Rican athlete already set 2 seasons best in this competition, though. She came in with a season's best of 6:40. First round was 6:49 and second round 6:58. So she had a good contest so far. Just only a little bit over on the board. Only a minor adjustment needed there. But Cardi Sagnia, the current women's leader, is up next. 6.66, the best of her 2 previous jumps. A 2-time Olympian, repeatedly ranked in the top 8 at the World Championships several times. An athlete of very high pedigree, the Swede. And that looked good to me. Was it okay on the board? No, a no jump in round 3 for Cardi Sagnia. Of course, along with all the technical components, these long jumpers have got to adjust for things like the wind. Of course, that can help carry you in your stride just a little bit more if you've got a strong breeze or a gust behind you. There's a lot of adjustments, very quick decisions for these athletes to make, so it really is an art form being able to long jump as well as these athletes do. But Palmena Mitkova up next. She's looking to register her first jump of the day. Of course, we are in round 3. Again, just looking a bit over the board there. It's not been Mitkova's day yet. The meeting record holder knows that she can perform well here, the Bulgarian. She knows this is somewhere she likes to be. So hopefully she can re-watch that jump, perhaps discuss it with her coach if her coach is present, and hopefully make the needed requirements, and we can see some good jumps from her for the rest of the competition. Monet Nichols then of the USA. 6.63 her best of the day so far. Just asking the crowd for more noise. These athletes absolutely thrive on atmosphere. They really want to get the crowd involved. Quick on the approach. And she gets the white flag. I wasn't sure there. It looked very close to me, but we'll have a look on the replay. The official's given her the white flag. Yeah, good on the board. In fact, she had plenty of room. So 6.40, no improvement yet for Monet Nichols. She is the favourite for the women's competition. She doesn't lead at the moment, though. She is sat in second behind Kari Sagnia. But over in the men's competition then, Bluestak Slovakian on the runway now. 7:47 is best of the day. 7:66 his personal best and season's best. That was set just a couple of weeks ago at the end of May. Very quick in those final couple of strides. Slightly behind the board by the looks of things. Perhaps some centimetres lost there. Yeah, not quite making the board. So some adjustments for Bluestack to make. 7:47, identical to his second round jump. So how's that for some consistency? Not easy to do that, that's for sure. Tchaikovsky, North Macedonia. The Republic of North Macedonia, I should say. His personal best, the national record, I believe. His current world ranking 98th for the long jump. And when you take a step back into perspective, that is absolutely fantastic ranking. And he'll be looking to improve that at the World Continental Tour silver meeting that we have here today. Of course, athletes can pick up various points and qualification standards at meetings through the season, so those world rankings will evolve. 7:26 his second round jump. 5 centimetre improvement on round 1. What's he got here? That looked better to me, but we'll have to wait and see. He does get the white flag. We'll wait for the official measurement, but here's the board. A little bit to still gain from the board. But 7:39, that is a big improvement. His season's best, still a little way further than that. 7:70 he's jumped so far in 2025. So hopefully he can get close to that mark in the next few rounds, but 7:39, much more like it. So donning the England vest. Farquharson, 8:01 is best. 7:51 is season's best. Well, sorry, I should say now 7:67 from this from his first round. So already the best of his 2025. Farquharson then revving up the crowd, asking for their energy. He goes powering down the runway. Fantastic speed there on his approach, and that did look better to me. White flag goes up. Yeah, good on the board. One of the best in Britain. He won the British title a few years back in 2021. 7:73 then, another season's best on the board for Farquharson. Tarkowski then from Poland. 7:65 is best of the day. So been waiting for beat drop there of his chosen music. Look good on the board. And these athletes really are starting to get to grips with this competition now. The jump's starting to look better and better to me. We are approaching the end of round 3. 3 athletes still to jump in this round. 7:48, no improvement then for Tarkowski. Petr Meinl-Schmid then from Czech Republic. He's good on his approach, isn't he? You can see absolutely flies through there. A red flag this time round, but that has been a consistent thing in his jumps so far. He has just absolutely stormed his way through. He's taken off with some real power. Yeah, you can see he's just overstretched a little bit.
Cool it down there. I suggest that if you have time, I don't know, maybe go check it out to the hospital. I'll give you some contact.
Competition leader up next then. Radek Juška, 7:93. He's the closest to that 8-meter mark that we've seen so far this evening. Tapping in the crowd as they eagerly anticipate what he has in store this time round. Now that looked very good. The crowd were impressed with that one. As he waits to see. Good on the board. Yeah, very good. He'll be pleased with that one. Big cheers from the crowd there. 7:98. And that is a meeting record at the JBL Jump Fest. That is fantastic. So if things stay like this, if that is the best jump of the day, he will be going home not only with the top prize money up for grabs, but also with the JBL gift. And that is the best long jump we've ever seen at this competition. Radek Juška, absolutely fantastic, 7:98. But up next then, Tajay Gale, the Jamaican athlete. He knows he can jump just as far. He knows he can jump further if he needs to. Can he bring that out today? He's overshot, unfortunately. And his deceleration looked a little bit painful there. We hope he's all right. Of course, with it being such a technical sport, the momentum that you carry forward in your jumps is absolutely huge. So if they don't quite go to plan, it can be quite tricky for these athletes. And hopefully he's not overstretched too much there. You see, just in those last couple of strides, he wasn't quite on his rhythm. And his deceleration looked like he might have just hurt his right ankle, but fingers crossed, nothing more than just a slight kind of twinge, if you like. But there we have Carly Sagnia leading the women at the moment, 6:66, her best jump so far. This is after 3 rounds, of course. Monet Nichols sat in second. She is the pre-competition favourite, so it'll be interesting to see what else she has in store today. And Elizabeth Felix in third. Molly Palmer, we hope that we'll see her return, although it looks like her competition may have been over. She did pull up with a hamstring issue on the runway in that 3rd round. So best wishes, of course, to Molly Palmer. You can see in the background of that graphic the very scenic setting that we have here at the JBL Jump Fest. We are in Košice in Slovakia. It's held here every single year. This is the 10th edition of this event now, and it is always an absolute success. The tickets remain free for spectators to come and enjoy an evening of long jumping. Of course, we are back tomorrow for the high jump, but the ticket capacity has increased 20% this year. It just goes to show strength this competition has. It is, of course, considered a pioneer of street athletics in Slovakia. JBL Jump Fest is a celebration of athletics and the successful careers of Danka and Janka Vedkova, who both grew up in Košice. And there now, of course, we have the current standings of the men's competition. Jushka with that meeting record, top of the tree at the moment. Tajay Gale, the pre-meet favourite, sat in second. And Meinl Schmid, the junior athlete that shows an awful lot of promise, in third. Lots of season's bests have been rolling through. These athletes, a lot of them are performing the best they've seen in 2025, and that only sets you up fantastically well for the summer. How exciting it must be to be in that position, and hopefully we can see some personal bests as well as the day continues. As we say, JBL Jump Fest going from strength to strength as it grows. Last year, of course, we had Gianmarco Tamberi. We know how incredible he is, the high jumper competing here. He finished second after the meeting record was broken in the high jump. We've had meeting records in both the high jump and the long jump in the past few years. And of course this year, we've just seen that fantastic jump from Radek Jushka. Jumping 7.98. Absolutely incredible. Season's best for him. His personal best, 8.31, of course. So hopefully we can see him broach that distance just a little bit closer. It's absolutely fantastic. You can hear the hubbub in the background. Absolutely fantastic. Just goes to show how important this meeting is. And field events often don't quite get the attention that track events do in athletics, and it just highlights how important they are and how loved they are and how fantastic they are to watch. They are some of the most exciting sports you can ever witness. When you get a good quality competition like we've got here today, it can be absolutely superb. So wonderful to hear the crowd noise and to see that the spectator capacity has increased this year. There you can see the runway for the long jump coming into view with that lovely aerial shot, and all the spectators enjoying their evening at the JBL Jump Fest. We do return tomorrow night, of course, and that's for the high jump competition, so do tune back in same time tomorrow, and we'll bring you some top quality high jumping. High jump, of course, another extremely exciting event as the bar does increase each round until no one can clear it. The competition can go on and on until it is the last athlete standing. The picturesque city of Košice being so perfectly shown off there in that shot. Absolutely stunning. You don't get a much better location for a street meet, do you? It must be a real privilege for these athletes to be jumping in this location, and a real privilege to witness it as well.
Můžeme pokračovat, so we can continue with that information. All will start in the women competition. Plamena Vitkova. She's trying to get the first correct attempt.
There, the street level shot, absolutely fantastic. It's not often that athletes get the opportunity to perform in settings like this. But now then, a big shout from Palmina Mitkova. She's not registered a jump yet in this competition. She's going to want to make sure she can get this one on the board. Here she goes. And that is better than the ones we've seen before. A huge improvement. I think it was still a red flag, but it was much closer. We'll wait for the replay on that one. Yeah, unfortunately, another red flag for Mitkova. But she's overstrode on the others, been significantly over the board. That was much, much closer. So hopefully, in a slightly inadvertent way, oh, look how close that is. And there's an argument there that if it wasn't the laser system, it was the old plasticine that athletics used to use, she may have gotten away with that. But of course, now it's a laser, isn't it? So unfortunately, another no jump for Mitkova, the current meeting record holder in the women's competition. But now to Vodnjanska. Can't hold us, blaring in the background as she hypes herself up for round number 4. Seven, 574, her best of the day so far. That was in round 2. You can see she was behind the board on that one. And of course, there is a discussion of takeoff zones and various other adaptations that are being made in athletics at the moment. And athletes being so far behind the board is one of the reasons why they are considering it. But the argument for the board being it is such an art. But no improvement in round 4 for Vodnjanska. Elizabeth Felix then, Puerto Rican athlete. She's at 3rd, I believe, in the rankings so far for her 3rd round jump. And a white flag for a 4th round, so 3rd round jump was a foul, as we can see on the screen. Much better in round number 4. The white flag goes up, and every field athlete will know how good that feels to see that white flag raised. No improvement in round 4, 636. 658, her best of the day so far. But Monet Nichols, our pre-competition favourite. 6th in the Paris Olympics last summer. You hope she's absolutely bursting with confidence, and this is her season opener. And I've got to say, I think she's looking better and better as this competition goes on. Technique-wise, anyway. 663, her best jump from the 1st round, though, and of course, that's what really matters. A couple of shortened strides there in the final phase of her run-up. That might have just lost her a little bit of momentum, and she was a little bit back on the board. 6:36 as well for Monet Nichols. So she'll be hoping to improve that first round jump. But leading our women's competition then, Kari Sagnia. Here she is, the Swedish athlete, round 4. 6:66, her best of the day. Look good on the board there to me. We'll wait for the white flag, of course. She'll be enjoying herself out in Košice this evening. Always a good feeling, of course, to be leading the competition. Behind the board, though, perhaps not a full extension in the air. So a few areas to improve. She speaks to her coach there, you can see 6:15, so no improvement there for Sagnia. Still leading though with that first round jump, and she'll be discussing with her coach what adjustments she can make and how she can make that 5th round even better. But we switch to the men's competition then. And Tarkovsky. He runs through his landing. He runs through that's Andreas Tchaikovsky, apologies. As he runs through that landing there, he's not quite happy with that jump, although his 3rd round jump has been an improvement. He's been building throughout the competition. And we'll get a better look at the board on this one. He looked all right on the board, he just wasn't quite there in his flight. As I've mentioned so many times, so many technical elements that need to come together for the long jump to be pulled off by these athletes. To do it round after round after round is really, really quite a challenge. You can see 6:11 there. It's not what he'd have wanted. But his 7:39, sorry, his best of the day in the previous round. Matusz Blusztak. You can see his approach here. He looks very strong there, doesn't he? Good on the board. Very strong jump from him in the 4th round. But now we move to Tarkovsky. For his 4th round jump. Looked like he was behind the board to me. And the white flag is raised, so this jump is definitely going to be registered. Isn't it improvement on his 2nd round, 7:65. $7.62, it's not far off. What else will we see from him? Currently ranked 49th in the world ranking system. And now Farquharson. 7.73 so far. Not quite at his mark that he competed at last year. 7.85 his best jump at JBL Jump Fest in 2024. He did win the long jump competition last year with that distance. Now he gets the crowd involved. He enjoys it in Košice. He knows it well. This is the 4th year in a row that he's been here. And now he takes off down the runway. A good approach to the board. Strong on the board, it looked to me. The white flag goes up in the background. Slightly short stride in his approach areas. He just adjusted to try and get the most out of the board that he could. Still a small way for improvement there. But of course, registering distance on the board is the most important thing. And 7:46, so no improvement there. 7:73 is best so far. And you can see he's just re-watching the replay. What can he improve? These athletes will be very used to those mid-competition adjustments. But now the young prodigy, Petr Meinl-Schmid, the Czech athlete. 18 in his Olympic debut in Paris. Absolutely fantastic. Currently ranked 30th in the world. Very quick on his approach. We've said it time and time again. Very, very fast in those closing stages of his as he approaches takeoff. The red flag is raised, and it's another no jump as it was in round 3 for Meinl-Schmid. But some very impressive aspects that we can take away from that, most definitely. Here's the close-up of the board then. Only just over. Minor adjustment that needs to be made, and hopefully we can see something very impressive from him. And now Tajay Gale, currently sat 8th in the world ranking system. 7:89 is best so far today. He looked better on the board there. That did look much better after a no jump in round 3, but we'll wait to see what it was and get that close up in a few moments' time. 7:99 announced over the tannoy, and this competition now is getting truly, truly exciting. That's another meeting record, and there it is confirmed on your screen. Round 4, 7:99, and that is another record this evening. So we've already seen the meeting record. It was previously set in 2023 by Radek Juška, who's on the runway now. He broke that record with his 3rd round jump of 7:98, and we've just seen it broken again by Tajay. 7:99. Now this competition is getting truly exciting. How can Juška respond? If anything's going to add fuel to the fire, that's exactly it. Here he goes then. Radek Juška. And that's big. That's very big. White flag goes up. Is it bigger than 7:99? He's shaking his head as he walks off. He's not convinced. We'll have to wait for that official measurement whilst he goes and analyses his jump. Very quick on his approach there. Good on the board. Absolutely fantastic jump. Fantastic. Are we going to see a jump longer than 7:99? No, 7:74. So the meeting record for now stays with Tajay Gale. And we return back to the start of the round number 5 then. And this is Palmena Mitkova, the women's meeting record holder. Big roar from her. Yet to register a jump in this competition, though. It's not been her day so far, but it can all change very quickly. All it takes is one jump. Still over the board in the 5th round, so another no jump for the Bulgarian. It's a real shame. She's not been a million miles off. Her 3rd round jump was her 4th round jump, apologies, was very, very close on the board. So she'll be feeling a little bit hard done by, I imagine. But that's what this sport's all about, and it is a real art getting the board exactly right. These athletes are fantastic at it, and some days we know as athletes, as sports, men and women, some days are just better than others. So Renata Vodnanska, the Slovakian, jumping on home turf. 5.74, her best so far today. 21-year-old, signed with Texas Tech University. And the red flag goes up in round 5. Conditions are pretty good in Košice this evening. Very, very mild. A little bit breezy. You can see the flags on your screen are happily kind of drifting away. Fluttering in the breeze, I think is the word I was looking for there. But very mild. You can see clear blue skies behind them. It's a beautiful, beautiful evening. And now, Elizabeth Felix from Puerto Rico. Her 2nd round jump, the best so far for her today. That looked better on the board to me. But of course, we'll wait for the replay. The white flag does go up. Yeah, good on the board. She's been pretty good on the board all evening. Okay, 6.47. Her 5th round jump, so no improvement still. Her 2nd round, the best so far of the day for Elizabeth Felix. But now, Monet Nichols, she's going to want to show us what she can do. She's very near that 7-meter barrier at her best. 6.97, her personal best. She's currently ranked 5th in the world, so although this is her season opener, she'll be wanting to approach a little bit closer to that mark. 6.63 she's jumped already this evening. She gets the white flag. In round number 5. .646, no improvement there. But of course, the season opener, athletes often for their season opener don't see very many legal jumps. So for Monet Nichols to have 5 jumps of all coming with a white flag is absolutely fantastic and a very good way to start the season, even if she's a little bit behind her personal best. But now, Sagnia. Cardi Sagnia. She's already jumped her season's best this evening. Her best of 2025 coming into this was 6:54. She's jumped 66 in the first round. Started off very strongly indeed. She's good on the board, isn't she? Absolutely fantastic there. That is a masterclass on the board. 6:69 celebrations there for Cardi Sagnia. And that will extend her lead at the top of the women's competition. Monet Nichols will want to pull something out of the bag. Andreas Tarkovsky then. So Tarkovsky restarts the start of the men's round, of course. Both competitions running simultaneously. We go through the women's round, then the men's, and then cycle back through. So Andreas Tarkovsky for round 5. He pulled up ever so slightly in his round 4 jump, hence the 6:11 there. We thought he may have hurt his ankle, but he looks to be okay. And he looks quite strong on his runway there. Although his jump perhaps not as far as he'd have hoped. We'll get the full distance in a second. A little behind the board. He has been off the board a touch in the competition today. He's got quite a few centimetres that he could gain there, so hopefully we can see an adjustment for his final jump. 7:16, it's decent, but it's not an improvement for him. Matusz Bluszczak on the runway. For his 5th round jump. Bluszczak gaining speed. He was behind the board, but it looked good there. The white flag raised, of course. Yeah, behind the board. Again, he's got plenty of space to play with there, and hopefully he's going to want to make the most of that. He's really going to want to try and optimise his final round jump. But Bluszczak in the 5th round. 7:54. So that's an improvement there in his 5th round. Not quite his personal best and season's best. That was set a couple of weeks ago, but definitely an improvement, and he could just pull something out of the bag in that 6th round. But now, Tarkovsky of Poland. For his 5th round jump. He waits for the beat drop of his song every time. The athletes, of course, been able to pick their own song. And he looked good on the board there. The white flag goes up. His approach was strong. And his 5th round has been registered at 7:58. So no improvement there. 4 seconds shorter than his 4th round jump of 7:62. And his best of the day so far from round 2 with 7:65. Relatively consistent figures though, as you can see on your screen there. And that's always confidence building for athletes. Consistency is of course what athletes are really aiming for a lot of the time. Alexander Farkarsson on the runway next. He's jumped 7:73 in the 3rd round. And here he goes then. That looked good. The white flag goes up. But isn't an improvement. He rolls his head back. He's a little bit frustrated, I think. Perhaps lowering his legs slightly early as he comes down from his jump. course, if athletes can hold their legs higher, they can hang in the air that little bit more. .761. So he's got one more chance to improve on that third round jump of 773. But attention turns to Petter Meinl-Schmid, the young athlete. He's had 2 no jumps in the previous rounds. 778 is best so far of the day. He can jump over 8 meters. We've seen him go over 8 meters. And that was at the Rome European Championships last summer. So he loves a big occasion, we know that. But the red flag again, he's frustrated. He's got one more attempt to try and rectify that. But nevertheless, he has set his season's best at the contest today, so it's still been a good day's work for him. And yeah, you can see he's quite significantly over the board on that one. He's really gone for it in his run-up and just his stride just a little bit over. But now the competition leader, meeting record holder, Tajay Gale, 799. His 4th round was magnificent, that was. And now he gets the crowd involved. He wants to feed off them. He wants to feel that momentum, that energy. Tajay Gale winds himself up. He gets himself ready. Will we see him go over 8 meters this evening? He's got 2 attempts left to do that. He's been very quick on the runway all evening. Perhaps didn't quite get the height on that one, but he does get the white flag, so we'll see what it comes out as. Yeah, his arc quite low and flat through the jump in that one. So perhaps not the 8 meter mark. 793, I mean, it's still an incredibly good jump, isn't it? Still really up there for the performances we've seen this evening, but 799 still his mark to beat. He's our competition leader over in the men's contest, and now the man that's been challenging him, the man that led up to that 799 jump, Radek Juszka, he's going to want to reclaim that meeting record. Of course, the meeting record was his prior to today from 2023. He then reset it with a 798 jump before Tajay Gale took over with 799. So can he respond? Round 5 of 6. He was close on the board, the crowd, lots of oohs and ahs, and he gets the white flag. He'll be waiting with bated breath to see this one. Very good on the board. And the athletes in the crowd, they'll both be absolutely loving this. The athletes feeding off the energy of the crowd, and vice versa. The crowd, of course, loving the competition, how close it's been so far. It's not often that we get to see long jumps within a centimetre of each other. That really is special. 782, not enough to compete with the 799. So Tajay Gale still leads the way with that 4th round jump. And we move into our 6th round this evening. Palmena Mitkova lining herself up. Can she get a jump on the board? 5 no jumps this evening. It's not been her day. She's jumped well already this year though. 669 her season's best. 697 her personal best, of course. She is the meeting record holder. We know she's good. She knows she's good. Will we see a big sixth round jump from Palmena Mitkova. And it's a relief for her as the white flag's raised. She had to, of course, the official just waiting for her to move from the sandpit to raise that white flag. She's behind the board. She's struggled with the board this evening. She's been quite far over it for the majority of her no jumps, and they're really quite far behind it. But of course, she had to play it safe there if she wanted to register a jump and get a distance recorded. So we'll see what that sixth round was for her. 6:35. And she'll be relieved to have recorded that jump. So, Vodňanska, the Slovakian. Athletes talk all the time about how special it is to jump in your home country. So to be on home turf here in Slovakia in front of a Slovakian crowd, it's a really special evening for the 21-year-old. And here she goes, gets the crowd going. Energy radiating through Košice. She was way behind the board on that one. She's frustrated to have ended her competition like that. But we'll see what the final measurement was. She was, yeah, really quite a way back there. She's had some better jumps this evening. 574 her best, I believe, in the competition. Yeah, 498. It won't be a jump that she'll be particularly pleased with there. But another competition banked, another 6 rounds in the bag for Vodňanska. And now Puerto Rican athletes, Elizabeth Felix. .658, her best of the day. That was from round 2. Can she beat it? And unfortunately, it's a red flag in round number 6 for Elizabeth Felix, but she claps and bows to the crowd, says thank you so much for your energy and enthusiasm. It's been a fantastic night so far in Košice. And she'll have enjoyed that competition very, very much. She was only just over on the board by the look of it. Get a better look here. Yeah, only just. She's been very strong on the board. Very, very fine margins for Elizabeth Felix. And now the pre-competition favourite, Monet Nichols. 7:04 in June 2024. We know she's a very, very good long jumper. 6th in the Olympic Games last summer. What can she do in this 6th round? She's at 2nd in the contest at the moment. And the red flag goes straight up. It's a no jump, unfortunately, for Monet Nichols in the final round. So her best of the day, 6:63. She'll stay in 2nd place. And that means that Carly Sagnia has won here this evening. We'll see her 6th round in just a moment. But we can see there she was just over on the board. The red flag raised very quickly by the official.
Let's try to make a JBL jump as a record. There is just 1 centimeter between your best today and JBL jump as a record. That is 670.
So 6:69 her best of the day, 6:70 the meeting record. What does this final round have in store for our winner, Carly Sagnia? Here she goes down the runway. We'll have to wait And there's the red flag. Unfortunately, it's not to be. But she thanks the crowd very much for their support. It's a shame to obviously come so close to the meeting record. 6:69, but she's won the competition. She'll take the prize money home. And she is our winner of the Women's Elite Long Jump at the JBL Jump Fest. But now we move on to our 6th round for the men. Andreas Trajkovski of the Republic of North Macedonia. Personal best set in 2023, 7:91. He jumped 7:39 this evening. And season's best, 7:70. Here he goes for the final time this evening. Andreas Trajkovski. And the white flag goes up. He's behind the board. We've seen him many times this evening. Not quite make full contact with the board. You can see the majority of his final step there was just behind it. So a fair few centimetres for him to regain if he can adjust that in future competitions. But Trajkovski finishing his contest with a legal jump. And 7:30. So his second best of the night. 7:39 he'll sign off with as his best here in Košice. Blušták up next on the runway. 7:54 is best today. 7:66 will be the figure in his brain. That's his personal best. That was set on 25th of May this year. But no, not to be. Not to be. As you can see his run up there. The strides weren't quite right for him to optimise the board, and he didn't quite take off as he usually would. Yeah, you can see a couple of shorter strides and everything was just limited. He knew it wasn't quite there in that final stage. .5:59 the recorded distance, but of course we know that's because he essentially ran through the jump there. Piotr Tarkovsky for the final time tonight. 7:65 is best from round 2. Currently sat 5th in the competition. A slight stutter into the board, but he looked good on that. Was he able to carry that momentum, that speed forward? Slight stutter, a slightly shorter stride into the takeoff. But good on the board. 7:67 as he claps to the crowd. That is his best for the evening, I believe. Farquharson then on the runway of Great Britain. He's currently ranked 68th in the world. Of course, the season only just starting, really, so these world rankings that I've been mentioning will evolve as the season goes on. Always interesting to look at. 7:73 is best so far. That was in round 3. Here he goes, hyped himself up, feeding off the crowd. It's a really powerful takeoff there. Did he get the white flag? He did. Is it going to be better than 7.73? He looked good on the board there. We'll get the close-up in a moment. Just how good. Here it is. Very good indeed. That is fantastic on the board from Alexander Farquharson. $7.84. That is a big improvement, 11 centimetres from his previous best today. That is a lovely new season's best for him to take home. His best jump so far of 2025. He sat 3rd in the competition. It's a good day's work for him. And now, Petter Meinelschmidt, he's going to want to disrupt that. But he's had 3 no jumps in his last 3 rounds. 7.78 is best so far of the day. The under 20. And that was good. Looked better on the board than his previous jumps. He does get the white flag, but is it going to knock Farquharson off of his 3rd place position? Not quite as strong on the board as Farquharson was in the previous jump, but very strong nonetheless. 7.60 for Petter Meinelschmidt. So no improvement for him. He'll stay 4th in this competition. And up next, the pre-competition favourite, the current leader, the meeting record holder, Tajay Gale of Jamaica, the 2019 world champion from Doha, where he jumped a personal best of 8.69, takes the runway for the final time this evening. Quick on the approach, strong on the takeoff. We'll have to wait to see the measurement of that jump. But he was good on the board, much better in the arc. We saw quite a flat jump in one of the previous rounds from him. A really nice arc there. 7.99 is best today. And 8.04. Absolutely fantastic to see Tajay Gale go over the 8-metre mark once again. For the first time ever at the JBL Jump Fest, we've seen a long jump go above 8 metres. It's a meeting record, and surely enough for him to take the title here in Košice. Fantastic from the Jamaican. So the only man that can interrupt that is Radek Juška. He's jumped 7.98 this evening. That was a meeting record at the time when he jumped it. Of course, not anymore. The final jump of the evening. And it looks like he was over the board. The red flag already raised before he'd even finished the run out. Goes to show that he'd put absolutely everything into that jump, though. He'd really, really gone for it on his approach. But he cheers the crowd, he claps them all. He says thank you so much for your support this evening. And that was just fantastic, wasn't it? What a competition so close between Tajay Gale and Radek Juszka for a moment there. And to see 8.04 from Gale, a fantastic treat. Of course, his season's best, 8.34, but 8.04 for the first time here at JBL Jump Fest. A new meeting record. So Tajay Gale will take home the top of the prize money and a JBL gift to boot. And here we have the results coming up then for the women's contest. Kari Sagnia, our winner, 6.69, just a centimetre off that women's meeting record that was set last year by Palmeta Mitkova.
Cenu bude odovzdávať podpredseda Košického samosprávneho kraja, pán Ladislav Lörinc. A víťazom sa stáva, and the winner of this competition is representing Sweden, Kari Sagnia.
And there she is, Kari Sagnia, celebrating her win this evening. The Rio and Tokyo Olympian. She's been at the top of the world rankings for some time, consistently getting in the top 8 at World Championships. And there, your winner, confirmation of that meeting record for Tajay Gale. What a fantastic performance that was. The Jamaican looking like he wasn't quite on form in the early stages. That meeting record initially fell for Radek Juszka. In the second half of that competition, that round 4 jump, 7.99, absolutely unbelievable. And there's his JBL gift as a reward. And then a final round jump of 8.04 to put it out of the bag in the final round. It's always exciting, and it just goes to show how unique and special field events are. And what a privilege to have such an exciting competition in Košice this evening. And there he is with his gifts, his winnings. An absolutely fantastic evening's work for our new meeting record holder, our winner for 2025, Tajay Gale. Absolutely superb. And as he sorts his spikes out post-competition, a reminder that, of course, action does return tomorrow evening. Of course, JBL Jump Fest became a 2-day event last year in 2024. It has remained that way in 2025. Our second evening of competition for the elites is tomorrow night. And we have the men's elite high jump. So do tune in for that. It's going to be a fantastic competition. We've got European medalists left, right and centre in tomorrow's contest, and we absolutely can't wait. It's going to be so exciting. High jump, as with so many of the field events, is super, super exciting to watch. It really draws you in as that bar just climbs higher and higher, centimetre by centimetre. It is absolutely superb and makes for some great viewing. So do tune in tomorrow evening as we're treated to another fantastic evening of jumping. Thank you very much for joining us on the European Athletics YouTube channel for the JBL Jump Fest Day 1. It has been superb. Some fantastic performances, as we've just seen from Kari Sagnia and Tajay Gale. And if tonight is anything to go by, tomorrow will be just as good. So please do join us then. I've been Rosie Tinbergen, and it's been my pleasure to commentate for you on this event this evening. And I can't wait to see you again tomorrow.